Wow, truly amazing. Malachi Wideman is putting on a show. This young man is very talented, a freak of nature, 6'5". It says 190. I think he weighs a little bit more than that, but he can still add in weight. In a SWAC, especially in the HBCU school, I can't remember a wide receiver with that type of prototypical size. Against Bethune Cookman, they tried to slow him down and it didn't work. Now, there was one touchdown that was a broken play, but besides that, they were trying. And they tried to do every single coverage to slow him down. They tried to put an extra man to follow him. That didn't work. To trail him, that didn't work. And he was still mossing those dudes and getting touchdowns. And he's developing a real connection. Wow. What an amazing talent. And before I start this video, I want to say shout out to Coach O, the recruiting coordinator. I know Coach Prime gets the accolades, and deservedly so. But Coach O, he does a great job in forming relationships with players, making sure they feel at home when they in their visits at Jackson State. And that's what it's all about. Whether it's recruiting or the transfer portal, Jackson State is checking all the boxes on how to get a talented player on their campus. A lot of schools, especially the SWAC, should take notes. Now, FAMU is doing that same thing. Shout out to FAMU. Another team that is stepping the game up in the social media department, as well as showcasing their players. They do an excellent job doing that. And if you would have asked me who has the best press, I mean like cameras, when their game's on, that's FAMU. FAMU's doing their thing in that area. Jackson State, they're getting talented players. They're getting dogs. See, last spring, everybody and their mama wanted to make fun of this team, even though they were playing with players who are not the type of players Coach Prime wanted to coach. And they probably were good kids, and they probably had some type of talent. But it's all about fit. It's all about buy-in. Yeah, these new crop of players for Jackson State are talented, but they're coachable. See, there's a difference. They're coachable. They play hard for their coach. They're not going to let some team score 50 points on them like they did in the spring. Alabama A&M, remember that game? They have pride. They want to win. They want to level the playing field. Or as I say, enhance the playing field. Go above the playing field. This is truly remarkable. Malachi Wideman, a receiver that played for the Tennessee Vols. A lot of SEC schools wanted him. Auburn definitely wanted him, and so forth. I think Florida, one of those schools, they wanted him. But he chose Jackson State. He didn't choose Jackson State for grades like they try to make up. That wasn't the case. What people have to understand, sometimes, not sometimes, but most times, young players, they want to play for a coach who relates to them. Example, Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders had offers from SEC, Big 12, ACC, Pac-12, you name it. He chose FAU at the time. And a couple of people would try to make fun of him, saying, oh, these big schools weren't interested in him. But there was an article, and it was a while ago. I wish I could find it too. But if you're listening, if anyone's listening, y'all know what I'm talking about. Shedeur Sanders talked about the importance of playing with a black coach. That's why he committed with Willie Taggart. He wanted to play for a black coach. He wanted to play for a coach who understands his culture, understands how he thinks as a brother. And then after that, history goes on. Shadir decided to play for Jackson State and commit to him. Commit to his father. A place of belonging. And now, Malachi Wideman, a young man who should have had more playing time at Tennessee. You look at his stats, he only had one catch for 14 yards. He played that one game against Kentucky. Should have been playing more. He comes to Jackson State. He earned every single minute here. Every single minute. He had to learn the playbook. And it took him some time to learn the playbook, but when he finally mastered it, Shadir Sanders kept feeding him the ball and feeding him the ball. The offensive line was so bad due to injuries. Let's point that out. I think Demetrius Jordan got injured. I don't know how long he's out. It may be for the season. On social media, he had a picture of him being carted away. Prayers to that brother. Tony Gray was injured in the game, but I think he may come back this week against Mississippi Valley State. So Shadir Sanders was like, I have a receiver that they can't stop, who's at a high level. I'm just going to throw it up. And that's what he did. Big time players make big time plays. And just like that, Malachi Wideman, his catch per game radius is out of this world right now. 17 yards a catch, 6 touchdowns, almost 300 yards, and the season's not over with. Remember, he just got playing time not too long ago. And you think this receiving core is that talented? Wait till next year. Wait till next year. Right now, there's Keith Corbin. Shout out to Keith Corbin, H-Town, Mr. Reliable, my nickname I gave him. Keith Corbin has the best hands on the team. He's always making plays. And if he keeps this up, now he got almost 600 yards now. Keith Corbin does. So if he keeps this up and get 1,000 plus, which he can get, I think NFL teams should take a look at him. Keith Corbin deserves it. He displays leadership in the sidelines, doesn't complain, always at the right place, right time. And I truly hope this brother gets the proper looks from the NFL. He deserves it. And I'm sure Coach Prime is going to do everything in his power to get Keith Corbin notice. But back to Wideman. Man, it's just the beginning. SWAC schools, if I were you, respectfully, I would go in the transfer portal and get every type of talented FBS corner. Now, get the type of corners who are long and rangy, that have experience. That's the most important part. JSU's doing this without a revamped offensive line they're injured, they're better up. The transfer portal and recruiting for 2022 is going to fix that. As you know, with offensive line, you need a couple of recruiting classes, preferably 2, to make sure that's rectified. So next season, which I expect to be a better season than this year, even though they're doing well, I believe the offensive line will be tip-top shape. I believe the wide receivers will be even better than this year. Shane Hooks is injured. He caught a couple touchdowns this year before the injury. He actually didn't get to play when T.C. Taylor took over, and that would have been a joy to see. So you got big, long, fast receivers in Wideman and Shane Hooks. Then you got speedy receivers, Trevontae Rucker and All-Out Brown. And I'm talking about next year. I'm talking about next year because Warren Newman, he's a senior. Corbin's a senior. And then the rising star at the wide receiver core next year, Quay Davis. And if you're from Texas, you know Quay Davis is that dude. He reminds me of a Dez Bryant. I'm not saying it because I'm trying to put out these comparisons all loosely. But if you watch his film, you saw what he did at Dallas Skyline. He was a man amongst boys. He can run like a running back, even though he's a receiver. He's very strong, upper body, stout, and excellent route runner. Sure hands, strong hands, can catch in a high point. He can kick return for you. He can play running back. He can play receiver. He's a jack of all trades. He is going to cause problems for a lot of teams on their schedule next year. Oh man, I cannot wait. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Just keeping it real with y'all. This is DJ's Raw and Cut Truth, giving you the raw content that you deservedly need. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Swac Buzz. Subscribe to the CFL Podcast, Tomorrow Leader Sports Network, Cut Day Sports. And thank you for tuning in. And I'm out.